excellent. Just enlarge it here. Perfect. So yes, so welcome everybody. And I know it's late in the day, so I will try to really complete, my talk in 20 minutes so that we're all done in time for dinner. But basically, I wanted to talk about the global legal tech sector. As an author of the legal tech book, or the editor-in-chief of the legal tech book, I'm also the founder and the CEO of FinTech Circle. So just to give you a quick overview of what we do, at the core of what we do is we invest in fintech and legal tech startups. So we are an investor network. We are about 70 investors, and our goal is to find the best entrepreneurs who shake up, the legal tech, the fintech space, and who want to change the status quo. So that's our primary goal in our inner circle, which is our founders, our investor network. The second circle is about working with the right partners. So the right law firms, marketing companies, PR firms, who help our startups to scale up, to grow, or help our investors to understand how to invest better. So it's one or the other. They have to be helpful to our members in order to be a partner of FinTech Circle. And we also work with corporates in banking, banks, so insurance companies, asset managers, where we know that these are clients of our startups. And we have got a large group of experts whom we are working with, legal tech, fintech experts. And then our outer circle is our global community. So FinTech Circle, we've got about 130,000 people who follow us daily to learn more about the future of our industry. And that's what we share across LinkedIn, Twitter, even Instagram, to share this knowledge, this thought leadership. And so on this page, you've got a few companies, we've invested in, and these companies are scaling up now, and we try to make sure that they become a big success, with the help of our network and our contacts, and guide them as well, what are mistakes to avoid as a startup, and how can you overcome difficulties and difficult situations and times such as now, what you do when your cash flow is limited, because of COVID-19, and how do you survive in these tough times? That's important. We share those things with our portfolio companies, and we help them, to grow and to get bigger and more successful. And the other reason what we do is we share knowledge. So we have written 6 books so far. The bottom right one, as you can see, is our legal tech book, which came out about 3 months ago. It's co-edited by myself plus 3 legal tech experts. And you've got, the profiles all on our website at FinTech Circle, but it's a joint effort, both by us as the editing team, but also by our global legal tech community. So the way we write our books is starting out from a humble position that we say there's not a single author who understands everything. Impossible, not even a team who can understand, what goes on. Like just now we heard, in Canada, globally, what are the trends? And so we reached out to our global community and said, what are the latest innovations, the latest technologies, latest business models, customer-centric design, case studies, what you are working on globally, and what are things which have you seen which worked very well, which you can share. And then we have our co-authors apply to get to write for the book. So it's kind of an open, a crowdsourcing of knowledge, and as editing team we then select and choose, who are the best co-editors and co-authors who can contribute to the book. That's how the legal tech book was born. And today I wanted to share with you some of the insights from the book, just in a very high level summary, takeaway version, so that you hopefully can take away some of those key messages. And I think the first one is really about technology and how technology empowers the law and the legal sector. And one of these areas of technology, one of course is cloud-based computing. Everybody uses the cloud nowadays. But the second very key element is artificial intelligence, AI. And so here on this page, you have got a definition, what is AI? You know, we all talk about it. There are lots of buzzwords out there, but this page summarizes it quite nicely, what we understand under AI, and also how it emerges, you know, on the right side, the emerging AI subtypes which drive computational law. So these are important terms, and the book explains them in more detail, but I just want to point, you know, a few ones out. You know, for example, machine learning and AI is often used interchangeably, although machine learning is almost like a subset of AI, includes predictive analytics, deep learning. We also use natural language processing, NLP. That's been used for translation services, you know, automated translation. So I remember, you know, when I was in China at the beginning of this year in January, and in Hong Kong at a FinTech conference, and I had to take a taxi in China, you know, I used an app on WeChat to translate my English into Chinese in order to get home, to get back to the hotel. And so those apps are life-saving. You know, they're really important, and they help with translation. It's free of charge. Nowadays, it's free of charge. And it also includes speech to text, text to speech. It includes lots of expert systems, you know, to find the best information, easily accessible. And also in terms of vision, you know, image recognition, machine vision. So all these types of AI empower lots of things which we refer to as legal tech now. And the emerging AIs, you know, the things which we have seen in the last 10 years, because AI actually has been around since 50 years plus. A long time, you know, even in school, I remember we learned about robotics and AI, but it never became mainstream because it was still too slow. It didn't work very well. There were lots of errors. And only in the last 5 to 10 years, we can see how it actually has improved, and that it's really reliable and really makes things possible which were not possible before. You know, so if you look at the right side, you've got computational law, data-driven innovation, you know, using prediction models, visual law, network analytic methods, so very new things which we can see helping our sector. And so what is legal tech? So if you go to the next page here, there are lots of areas where technology helps legal professionals, helps the legal sector, such as, you know, e-billing. A very simple one, just in terms of sending out simple contracts, invoices, and allowing them to be paid online, allowing them to be signed online. Legal tech, again, is both B2C, like what we just heard before, you know, the very interesting presentation from Shannon. That's a business to consumer application, to end consumers who so clearly need this service. But of course, we have got business to business applications working and helping to solve the issues of other companies and corporates. We use legal tech for compliance risk management, you know, in terms of contractual understanding, in terms of compliant behavior, conduct, what's the right conduct in terms of, you know, communication surveillance, market abuse monitoring, and banking. So all these areas, legal tech is being used, and also sometimes it's also referred to as reg tech. You know, what do we need to do to be regulatory compliant? So there's an overlap, you know, between those terms. Another key area are smart contracts. You know, those of you who are interested in distributed ledger technologies, blockchain, will know of smart contracts. And what this basically means is that sometimes, you know what the possible outcomes are. And it's almost like a decision tree. You know, if this happens, the consequence will be A. But if something else happens, the consequence will be B. And something else, it might be C. And so you can program those steps, those decision trees into your software. And this can become a smart contract, which automatically then happens if a certain condition is being met. And an example in finance would be insurance policies, which automatically pay out when your flight is delayed by more than 4 hours. You know, those policies exist today. And they make it so much easier because the person who has paid for the insurance policy doesn't have to claim, because the money he gets paid out automatically. There's no admin, for the insurance company, because it's predetermined that this incident actually happened, because they got the information from the airports that the flight was being delayed by 4 hours or more. So everything happens much in an automated fashion. It happens cheaply, and it's to the delight of the customer, who avoids any red tape or long filling out of complicated forms. So these are all areas of where legal tech can help. And the key thing, of course, one of the key areas is ethics. Ethics plays a huge role in terms of, is it fair? Like, again, the presentation just before was perfect, to explain how important it is that these lawyers, they understand the life of the people using the software, that they understand what fairness means in practice, that it's reliable, it's safe, it's transparent and private. These ethical considerations cannot be underestimated, especially because lots of solutions nowadays are not understood by the recipient. The recipient gets the result, but he doesn't know how the software determined the result. And so there must be always a way where the recipient, if he disagrees with the result, can go back and ask, how did you end up rejecting my application, for example? What was the reason? How should I improve to get it accepted next time around? And so there should not be a black box. It has to be explainable. And so in AI, we call it explainable AI or XAI. Actually, we've got a conference on that on Wednesday where we talk about that as well. But so ethics is key for legal tech. One of the other things which is important is that the legal tech, that the majority of legal tech companies actually want to empower the legal function. So it's not so much, for those of you who are lawyers, many lawyers feel and felt maybe scared or threatened, all the technology is taking away our jobs. And in some cases, it might a little bit, but I think in the majority of cases, it might actually help lawyers to be more efficient, because it can help to do the mundane, the boring tasks better, and delegate them instead of to a junior member of the team, to delegate those tasks to an automated system which can help. And then, of course, we need a human oversight to make sure that the delivery is communicated correctly. But I think the key thing is it can and it should empower the legal function. And on this page, you have got examples of how this can be done. I won't read them out to you now, and I'm very happy to share the slide deck, with all our participants afterwards. So our organizers, Natasha, will share that with all of you. But it's about, end-to-end enterprise digitalization, where agreements can be digitized, contracts, analytics can be implemented. It's about our generation and our generation now, being used to work at home, working on the cloud, during this year specifically, having virtual offices, using virtual negotiators. So all these are services, which are available. And it's about data-driven intelligence. How can data be used to make better decisions at the end of the day, to make fairer decisions, and to empower every step of the way management. I'm on the board of a bank, for example, and also on the board of fintech companies. And sometimes the data we have is not complete, is not full, and we would love to get more data in order to make better decisions. And I think over time, technology will help us get access to better data. And of course, the key thing is we always talk about big data, but big data might not be the right thing, because we might not just need big data, because big data might be confusing, might be overwhelming. But what we want to turn this into smart data, into smart visualization, which actually helps us, people, to make better decisions and to realize certain patterns, to realize what goes on, and what should be done as a consequence. So really, that's the way I would look at it, when you start investigating legal tech, understand and try to look at what can you take away, what benefits your jobs, what can you use which benefits your companies. So try to look for those legal tech companies who service the existing players in the industry and who want to work and sell to you, and that's the way they want to grow, is by having collaboration in practice, working together. And if I move now to the last page in terms of my conclusion, that's, I think, to realize that AI and legal tech is already at work. It's already being implemented. It will be much more in the future, but we're seeing it already at work, and it helps already now. So we can see that it does make jobs easier, from legal research to e-discovery, to pricing, to billing, using the right software tools. It does save time, it makes people more efficient, and it helps to automate tasks which otherwise would have been all manual. So it does clearly lead to higher efficiency. And I think on this page, there's one sentence which I like the most, which is under the headline, AI does not replace humans, it assists them. And this sentence, I just want to read it out to you. It's about, it's not a question of whether machines are more accurate than humans, but whether humans assisted by machines are more accurate than humans alone. And I think that's, I think something which you probably agree with, that if we, as experts, if we get assisted by machines and by software and by legal tech solutions, we can be even better than having no tools at all at our available, basically. So that's, that's the way I look at it. So look at it, I think we've got a very bright future ahead of us, and we want to use, the tools available, while of course controlling that they don't go down the wrong route. And that's why ethics is so important. I give you an example of an AI bot developed by Microsoft. It was a few years ago, and it was an AI robot, you could say, used and being trained on Twitter to be a bot, learning from the tweets on Twitter. And within a day, this AI bot became not only sexist, but it also became a racist. And Microsoft had to switch it off, after a day. So this is an example, where it went horribly wrong. And so the decision was, we have to switch it off right away. So things will go wrong. And the key thing is that we can supervise it, we can stop it. So we need to be able to always press the stop button, if things go wrong, but it should not make us afraid of exploring the things which go right. That's I think really the conclusion. And so if you want to learn more about legal tech, that's the book. It's called the Legal Tech Book. It's published by Wiley. Wiley is our publisher. It's available on Amazon. It's available on Wiley's website. And it's really based, on the principle that investing in your own skills pays the best dividends. And I do hope you will enjoy it, because it's written in a way which is not boring. It's not an academic, dry, potentially document which is hard to read, but it's enjoyable to read, because it's written by lots of practitioners globally, sharing the knowledge about the future of the legal sector and how we can engage in the best possible way. So that's, in summary, I'm very happy that I was able to join you all today at this great conference. And so I would love to hand back now to Natasha. Back to you, Natasha.
Thank you. We do have a few questions before you run off. So do you think that there is a lack of ethical considerations in the legal sector and in the corporate in general, and how would we improve that, if so?
I do think, I think ethics can never be enough, to be honest, So I think we can never do enough. I think there have been lots of issues, with ethical behavior. I mean, at all levels of not just the legal sector, but the corporate sector, So I think we have the responsibility to improve that, and we have the responsibility to point things out. So all of us who are in powerful positions to see unethical behavior, we have to step up, we have to talk about it, we have to stop it. And so I think a clear yes, Natasha, so we have to improve, we have to get things better. And I think we have to help people who might be in weaker positions, who can't sue easily, who can't fight for the rights, to help those as well. And potentially with access to justice, which is one part of legal tech, it opens up maybe more legal rights, for those people who have got less power in our society to still get justice, which they deserve.
Thank you so much, Susanne. It was lovely having you here.
Thank you very much, Natasha. Bye-bye and have a lovely evening.